Part 1. Noble blood and birth of a strong soul inside proud Athens' heart. In the vast flow of human thought history, rarely does a person leave marks deep and complete, like great Plato. To understand his huge idea castles, we must start from roots, family and politics, turbulent context where he grew. Plato was born year 427 before Common Era, in Athens city, when this land was at peak of pride, but started cracking by Peloponnesian War. He was not a common person, but true noble, with blue blood inside his veins. Father named Ariston, descendant of Codrus, last king Athens. Mother named Perictione, linked to Solon, great lawmaker, one of seven Greek sages. Combination of families placed young Plato in privileged position, accessing elite education, but also carrying heavy political expectations from his clan. Few people know. Name of Plato, honored worldwide, was just nickname. His birth name was Aristocles, meaning best glory. Nickname Plato from Greek word plates, meaning broad shoulders, given by teacher Ariston of Argos, wrestling teacher himself, not just describing a strong body with broad shoulders of a fighter, but also predicting a vast mind covering all fields. Youth of Plato, not just books or early poems, but sharpened on wrestling floors, learning the persistence, discipline and control, muscular power control, healthy body and sharp mind combined, created balanced Plato, who later claimed, ideal education is harmony of body and human soul. Real wrestling experience helped him understand truth is not just dry reasoning, but harsh training against the challenges. Growing in noble family during the war, Plato was destined for political career. Learned literature, music, painting and poetry from best masters. His early poems contained deep sensitivity and language ability, making his dialogues eternal literary works. But his soul, as a noble, was soon shaken by political chaos, witnessing the fall of old morals, rise of demagogues, and war brutality. His political ambition started to shake, seeing the injustice and deep corruption every corner government. He searched for something more stable, truth not swept by power plots. Greatest turning point, meeting with Socrates, age 20 years. Image of old simple man, wandering Athens markets, asking hard questions about justice, virtue. Conquered Plato mind. After hearing Socrates, Plato did act. Strong symbolic act. Burned all poems he carefully wrote. To focus mind. Focus on philosophy. Not rejecting beauty, but realizing truth is more beautiful than any poem. Socrates did not teach ready theories, but taught questioning, stripping away lies to find truth. This master student Relationship shaped Plato. Not doing politics, using the power, but reforming society, using the wisdom and human ethics. Part 1 ends with Plato standing at crossroads: history, noble tradition, expectations, and philosophy. Path of Socrates. His formation was not just accumulating the knowledge, but inner struggle, finding life purpose, seeds of ideas, world of forms, just state and soul journey started blooming mind during youth days. Proud Athens city, noble blood combined, wrestling discipline and sage guidance created solid foundation for a knowledge kingdom. Plato will build for humanity. Part 2. Sage tragedy and 12 years of wandering for truth, searching ultimate truth. Year 399 before Common Era became a scar, never healing scar, inside Plato mind, and cruel turning point of Western philosophy. Socrates the master, intellectual lighthouse for young Plato, was sentenced death by Athens government for vague crimes, not honoring gods, corrupting the youth. For Plato himself, civilized society killing the just, most wise person, was solid evidence for political decay. Witnessed the master drinking the poison, refusing to escape, staying true to soul integrity. Death of Socrates, not just loss of teacher, but belief collapse, forced Plato ask fundamental questions: why evil kills good, using justice name, how to build a world honoring the wisdom instead of persecution. Blind politics disgust made Plato leaving Athens city, beginning his journey. 12 years wandering, not just travel, but spiritual pilgrimage through great civilizations, finding the answers, mysteries of universe, mysteries of man. First stop Megara, with other students, preserving master legacy, but knowledge thirst, not stopping there. Traveled to Egypt, land of pyramids, ancient priest secrets. Plato was impressed by stable order, superior math knowledge, astronomy and science. Egyptian culture stability shaped his ideas about eternal values, unchanging over time. Foundation for forms, world of forms. From Egypt land, continued to Italy, meeting Pythagorean mathematicians. Strong mental shock, shaking his mind. Math and geometry, not just tools, but universe language. Proof for order, perfect and unchanging, behind material chaos. Pythagorean soul theory, immortality and reincarnation, blended with Plato. Building philosophy system. Soul is noble, needing the purity through knowledge, reason and truth. Plato belief became stone solid. Ultimate reality exists outside human eyes. Truth not found in decaying objects, but eternal laws and abstract structures. Last bitter chapter. Wandering journey happened in Sicily. Syracuse Kingdom Court. Attempted bold experiment, making the tyrant Dionysius I A philosopher king. Believed if ruler has the wisdom, society reaches justice. But harsh reality gave heavy blow. Tyrant loved power, loved carnal pleasures, not seeking wisdom. Plato honest advice made king angry, sold into slavery. Aegina slave market. Luckily friend rescued. Return to Athens. Honorable return home. Syracuse failure did not discourage, but reinforced belief. Politics cannot improve without soul education. From the roots, 12 years wandering shaped strong Plato. Deeper than ever, returned to Athens. Not noble dreamer, but a sage, carrying Italy math, Egypt mystery and Sicily blood lessons. 12 years' time crystallized his thoughts into solid system, realized his mission, not power games, but building school, training new leaders, seeing truth light. Socrates' great sacrifice, wandering years ups and downs, tempered iron will, preparing for academy, where Plato light will start shining, governing human mind over thousands years. Part 3. The Academy founding and the ambition, creating a kingdom of sages. After 12 years, wandering great lands, Plato returned Athens. Year 387 before Common Era. Age 40 years. Peak of wisdom and mental strength. Did not return for petty revenge or power games that killed master, but returned with a grand plan, building knowledge fortress, protecting the truth, training the people, leading the society out of cave of ignorance, at Olive Grove, outside Athens city, named after hero named Academus. Plato founded academy, first university in human history, not just school, but intellectual community, where philosophy, math, astronomy and politics blended for purpose, ultimate noble purpose, finding the good nature of good. Academy birth was a direct protest against practical education, for profit only. Sophists taught rhetoric for winning debates, charging expensive fees. But Plato opened his school for any person seeking the truth without any fees. Believed that wisdom, not a commodity for buying selling, but internal light, needing to wake above school gate. Plato engraved words, bold and challenging. Let no one ignorant of geometry enter here please. For him math and geometry were first important steps, training rational mind, helping the soul, escaping superficial senses of material world, entering eternal structures. Academy did not teach just speaking, but taught thinking, strictly and justly. Education at academy, not teachers lecturing, stuffing the knowledge, but constant discussion, based on dialectics. Dialectics of Socrates. Plato believed truth, born from collision of minds, seeking the truth. He and students, including young Aristotle, spent many decades analyzing all life, universe structure and nature of soul. First place where pure scientific research, respected like ethics, Plato created environment. Bold ideas born. Foundation for science. Methodology we use until today. Academy was not just a school, but grand experiment. Can reason be measure of values? Deepest purpose for founding the academy. Realizing his ideal. The Philosopher Kings understood if rulers lack the wisdom, lack the virtue, society remains unjust, suffering from violence. Academy was cradle, training the leaders, seeing the good as form, source of truth, source of morals. Plato hoped graduates returning to states, governing with justice, love for truth, creating new elite, not blood money, but mind character, huge effort changing, destiny of Greece, not by swords, but liberal education, along with teaching. Plato wrote dialogues, immortal written works, using Socrates' figure as main character, preserving master voice and master method, using the literature, expressing complex systems vividly and easily. Works like Republic, Symposium and Phaedo, born in academy, becoming solid pillars for Western thinking. Choosing dialogue form instead of dogma shows his respect for human freedom of independent thinking, not imposing answers, but inviting readers, joining the journey, finding the answer. Part 3 ends with academy established, most powerful center of ancient world. Plato no longer wanderer, became sole architect, building the kingdom of sages, for eternal future. Part 4. Theory of forms and eternal kingdom. Behind the veil of reality. If we must choose one pillar supporting Western philosophy, it is surely the theory of forms, created by Plato. Not just theory, but cognitive revolution, extraordinary effort answering, where is truth? In a world changing and decaying. Plato argued that what we see, touch and feel through the senses are just shadows, blurry flawed copies of higher reality, purer and eternal. He called it world of forms, or world of ideas. Imagine a circle, perfect math circle, in physical world. You draw circle on the sand, on the paper, or cast gold, but no circle is absolutely perfect. Small flaws exist under the microscope, eventually erased by the time. But the form of perfect circle, curve with points, equidistant from center, is eternal truth, never changing existence, independent of humans. Drawing it out, this division between visible world and world of forms created new vision of universe. For Plato himself, material world is world of becoming, where things are born and dying, but forms world is world of being, where truth reigns forevermore. Plato argued that relying on senses, like eyes, ears, only gives us superficial changing opinions. Only through reason, power of thought, humans can escape material veil touching absolute forms. Core difference between Plato and materialists. Carpenter makes chair, Based on idea. Idea of chair. Physical chair breaks. But form remains. Remains forever constant. Plato expanded this to great concepts. Justice and beauty. And the good. We call act. Act of fairness. Or beautiful flower. Because they participate. Participate in form. Absolute justice beauty. Existing higher realm. Deepest mystery part. In Plato theory. Is the anamnesis. Recollection theory itself. Plato asked question. How do humans recognize the perfection if we never see it in this world? Why we know. Line not straight. Act not just. Plato's answer was spiritual and philosophical. Soul is immortal. Before entering body, soul traveled in form's world. Witnessed whole truth. Entering the body, memories become blurry. Learning and thinking. Not receiving knowledge from outside world. But soul remembering. Remembering what known. Seeing beautiful things. Soul starts vibrating. Remembering absolute beauty. It once saw. Philosophy for Plato is soul purification. Helping humans remember their divine nature. Forms theory has meaning for knowledge. And ethics politics. Standards must exist. Eternal and unchanging. Otherwise morals are just relative conventions. Changing over time. Sophists often taught. If everyone has private personal truth, society falls chaos. Establishing forms world. Plato gave measure. Absolute measure for human behavior. Form of good. Like the sun. Intellectual world sun. Illuminating other forms. Source of life. Ultimate spiritual goal. True leader must contemplate the good. Bringing that light. Arranging the state. Plato thinking strength lies in depth. No compromising superficial. Demanding ultimate search into the essence. Forms theory influence is truly enormous. Shaping Western civilization. Christianity and science. Math order behind the nature. Plato idea was foundation for Galileo and Isaac Newton. Universe written in math language. Until today debate. Plato idealism and Aristotle realism echo. Every corner thought. Part 4 helps us realize. Behind material bustle stands stable truth. Waiting for courage. Using the reason. Plato opened door. Escaping senses limitation. Inviting our eyes towards wisdom stars. Where eternal forms always shine bright. Guiding the soul back to truth. Truth as source. Part 5. Allegory of cave and lonely journey. Escaping the chains of ignorance. In 7th book of Republic work, Plato told story. Obsessive powerful allegory. Moving human mind. Over 2 millennia. Allegory of cave. Not just literature, but detailed map. Soul journey starts from darkness, lack of knowledge, to brilliant light. Ultimate noble truth. Plato invites us. Imagine deep cave, where prisoners stay, shackled since childhood, legs and necks, fixed and locked, only seeing straight. Stone wall behind their backs. Fire always burning. A high path. Where people carry many objects. Passing through path. Fire casts shadows. Shadows of objects. On the wall. Prisoners never see anything else besides believing flickering shadows are true reality. They name shadows. Debating about them. Honoring the people. Predicting shadow ghosts. For them world of shadows, is only truth. Plato depth lies in comparing us, humans in world, physical material world, are cave prisoners. Shadows on wall represent superficial info, social prejudices and unproven dogmas and deceiving sense images. We chase values, fame and money, or blind beliefs, not knowing we live in collective ignorance dream. Chains holding us, not physical ropes, but mental habits, old thinking ways, laziness of reason. Plato pointed out, most people feel safe and comfortable inside their cave. Facing the truth demands huge effort and great courage. Giving up familiarity. Turning point starts when lucky prisoner is unshackled now, forced to stand, turning head back. Plato described this very painful process. Looking at fire, eyes are dazzled, feeling confused and wanting return back to shadows. But if continued, pulled out cave, sunlight outside shining, pain increases more. Brilliant sun makes him temporary blind, needing time adapt. Seeing shadows ground, reflections in water, stars at night. Finally looking straight, looking at sun in story. Is form good? Ultimate light source, allowing us see beings as they truly are. This is symbol, true education symbol. Total soul turning, material to intellectual. Journey out cave, is philosopher journey, not flat path, but hard climbing, cliffs of doubt, standing under sun, understanding universe truth. Sage reaches happiness and true wisdom. But Plato added, heavy moral task. Person seeing light, not allowed staying up high, enjoying own peace, must return cave, rescuing old comrades, back in cave, eyes used light, now blind darkness. Other prisoners look, see a madman, clumsy and weak, not predicting shadows, like before days. They mock him, even ready kill anyone trying, unshackle and led him out. Sad metaphor about death of Socrates, who awakened Athens, paid with life. Plato cave story contains eternal message. Nature of education, role of leaders. Education not stuffing the knowledge. Empty minds like water in pots, but art of turning soul vision, soul seeing truth. True leader must be person who walked out cave, contemplated the good, enough compassion courage, returning to community, middle of darkness. Part 5 reminds us today. Digital cave world. Media illusions around. Waking and walking. Finding reason light is most important human task. Plato gave us key for liberation, inviting us not observing shadows wall, but walking towards. Son of Truth. Living truly free. Meaningful real life. Part 6. The Philosopher Kings. And Grand Design. Of Ultimate State. The just state. After passing through levels of awareness. Escaping the cave. Darkness of ignorance. Plato leads us to greatest work. His practical work. Ideal state design. Named the Calopolis. In Republic Book. He did not seek political compromise of superficial groups, but searched deep nature of justice. For Plato himself, a state is happy and stable when it works. Unified body structure. Every part performs natural function correctly, without invading others. Plato depth lies in mirroring state. Through human soul. Soul has parts. Reason, spirit, appetite. Corresponding to this, just society divided into 3 classes. Ruling class gold. Protective class silver. Productive class bronze. Justice is harmony. When the reason leads social body. Heart of politics. In Plato theory. Is philosopher king. He made declaration. Shocking the history. Until philosophers rule. All kings possess spirit of philosophy. Humanity will never escape suffering. Why absolute power? In sage hands. Plato argued that politics not game, fighting for gain, but highest science and noble art. Like a ship, needing the captain, knowing stars navigation to avoid sinking. State needs leader, contemplating the good, leading the community towards the justice. Philosopher kings rule not by desire. They feel reluctant, leaving truth contemplation, returning to world, but they act by the responsibility. Only one's knowing what is good for entire state, to ensure rulers never being corrupted by petty desires. Plato proposed rules, extreme and harsh. Philosopher kings and the protective class must give up private property, family, living in community, eating together shared, viewing every citizen as family member. Plato understood deeply source of corruption. Political division starts from property greed and family favoritism. By killing ego. Plato wanted leaders pure and focused on state prosperity. But this point, most controversial part, placing collective interest above individual freedom, absolutely and strictly, creating the debates. Totalitarianism later years. Justice in Calopolis. Based on education. Strict and fair. Plato did not believe class division by blood money, but soul capacity. Every child given equal learning opportunity through harsh tests. Highest rational souls chosen for training, becoming future leaders. Education lasts long, 50 years time. Physical, music, math. Finally the dialectics. Contemplating ultimate truth. Plato claimed that person only rules after governing soul. Inner self-cultivation is only guarantee for clean politics. Part 6 shows Plato visionary sight. Society based on wisdom and ethics. Though ideal state never appeared fully in real history, it remains standard eternal moral standard. Examining political flaws. Plato taught us good government not pleasing crowd desires, but guiding citizens towards the good. Philosopher King is not just ruler, but a teacher, chief soul architect for national happiness. This legacy reminds every single era, highest knowledge and pure human ethics is only key, opening the door. World of Justice, World of Peace, Part 7. Nature of Soul and Platonic Love. Soul Chariot Allegory. Ascending through love, understanding the state, leads us back to deepest reality inside each human. Nature of soul. For Plato himself, soul is not temporary material entity, but immortal being, eternal and divine, existing before birth, existing after death. In Phaedo work, he described death, not scary ending, but great liberation, soul escaping prison, prison of body, returning to light, light of truth. Philosophy for him, preparation for death, training the soul, separating from senses, seeking eternal values, to explain conflict inside human mind. Plato used allegory, immortal chariot image. In Phaedrus' book, imagine the soul like a chariot, pulled by two-winged horses, guided by driver. White horse represents spirit or courage, carrying the pride, desire for noble, obeying the driver, aiming for sky. Black horse represents appetite or desire, heavy and stubborn, pulling chariot down to earth, to carnal pleasures. The driver is reason, the logic, using the wisdom, managing two energies, conflicting energy sources, justice and happiness of each individual depends on reason. Controlling black horse, guiding white horse, flying towards forms. Inner struggle happens every single day. Only through training, reason keeps balance, avoiding the fall to corruption. Unique contribution from Plato is Eros, the Platonic love. In Symposium work, describe the love not as end, but a force, bridge connecting world, material to intellectual, through deity character. Introduced love ladder, lowest step start, attracted by body, beautiful physical body, using the reason. Lover realizes beauty, same in others, loving the beauty in general. Higher level reached, loving soul beauty, knowledge and laws, and political institutions. Final ultimate goal, Platonic love destination, contemplating the beauty, absolute form beauty, eternal and unchanging, source of everything beautiful universe. Platonic love is not rejecting emotion, dry or cold, but transforming desire into knowledge thirst, moral perfection goal. Love moving upwards, lover and beloved, helping each soul, reaching higher awareness. Plato believed that when loving beauty, soul starts vibrating, recognizing blurry memories of forms it once saw. Love is medicine, healing soul loneliness, wings helping chariot, flying even higher. Plato depth lies, seeing divine desire inside human lust. Instead of killing, killing the desire. He taught refining, aiming for sun of truth. Part 7 shows humanistic romantic view. Strictly serious Plato. About inner life. Taught us humanity. Not just biological, governed by instincts, but divine entities, carrying the light. Every mind conflict, every heart vibration, is part journey. Soul finding roots. Reason as driver. Love as force. Plato gave method. Self-transformation method. Legacy reminds us. True happiness not satisfying all desires, but soul harmony. Reaching the noble. Behind reality bustle. Plato made philosophy. Poem of salvation. Inviting us love. Living worthy of soul immortality. Part 8. Eternal legacy of Plato and foundation. Western civilization foundation. Through all ages. Looking back at huge intellectual castle Plato carefully built, we cannot help but marvel. Greatest mind size. Shaping every side. Western thinking side. Over 2 millennia. Alfred North Whitehead gave a mortal remark. European philosophy tradition consists of series of footnotes. Footnotes to Plato. Not an exaggeration, but historical fact. From ethics, politics, metaphysics and knowledge, Plato asked questions. Fundamental human questions. We still debate until today. His legacy lies in preserved dialogues, perfectly through millennia, but also in rational thinking method, desire for essence, behind superficial things. Plato transformed philosophy from mystical oracles to rigorous reasoning, making truth love. Noble soul mission. Plato influence reached every historical fiber. Clearly in Christianity. During first centuries, thinkers like Augustine found in Plato solid reasoning frame, explaining religious beliefs. Form world idea became the heaven, immortal soul concept, and mental purification, blended with salvation. Plato provided language and thinking structure, imagining higher reality outside material world. This legacy is so huge that without great Plato, Western spiritual face, completely different face. He taught looking towards high, longing for noble, believing moral order, inside changing universe, not stopping at spiritual world. Plato ideas were silent intense source, modern science source, solid belief in perfect math order, behind nature chaos, became the compass. Great science revolutions. Galileo claimed that nature book written in math. Isaac Newton searched eternal planet laws. They walked path Plato marked before 2,000 years. Reason worship and logic reasoning method prepared human mind, exploring the universe, not by superstition, but precise thinking. Plato taught us reality is not what's seen, but what understood through pure intellect. In political field, just state design remains a mirror, humans reflecting flaws of current systems. Though Philosopher King, or collective control, criticized as totalitarian, core value of of wisdom virtue, above power ambition, remains forever valid. Plato reminds us, liberal education is the only key creating good citizens, responsible human leaders, warned about demagogues and moral decay when chasing desires. His political legacy, not rigid formula, but constant warning, individual responsibility for community happiness. Ending Plato's journey, we realize that his own philosophy, not dry theory, lying on bookshelves, but constant invitation for waking. Plato gave us key for liberation, escaping ignorance cave, inviting us turn towards sun of truth, taught loving beauty, respecting the justice, longing for good, with soul strength, every self-examination, every justice struggle, vibrating before math, is continuing Plato intellectual blood. His legacy is healing hopeful message, humans not dust, but divine entities, carrying the light, reaching for eternal hope. These reflections about this sage inspire your journey, climbing out cave, living brilliant life under wisdom light and true love. Thank you listening and joining us. Daily life stories on this quest